The final agenda item focuses on the candidate's vision for the city's future. Participants want elected officials to prioritize investments in children, families, and residents over corporations. People want to know how candidates plan to make St. Louis successful moving forward.
My name is Ray Brown. I'm in Ward 7, and with the upcoming mayoral election, the issue that's most important to me is making sure that our public resources are supporting St. Louis public schools, and specifically non-charter schools, but schools that benefit all kids in St. Louis over the long term.
And make sure that we increase the availability of free pre-K for everyone that needs it, after school services, and various city social services for the populations that need it most.
The mayoral candidates and alderpersons, you are our closest representatives. We need you to work with us. We need you to work with we, the hardworking people, to be passing legislation to make a tangible difference in our everyday lives.
St. Louis Public Schools. This is something where the mayor doesn't have direct control, but it's so important for the health of the city going forward. What can the mayor do to help right the ship with some of the problems that have been publicized at the public school district lately?
Well, one thing that I would like to make plain and make absolutely understandable is that the city of St. Louis public schools are flush with money. Now, they have lost money because of some of the things that have taken place, but historically, money has never been a problem for the city of St. Louis public schools. The city has been absolutely flush with cash. Now, what people do with it, corruption, things of that nature, that's a whole total different thing. So when the gentleman mentions that the Rams money or things of that nature, ARPA money, some of the monies that we've been talking about here that are windfall monies should not go to corporations and things of that nature, and they should go to schools. The schools are okay with money. We have cultural issues within the city of St. Louis public schools, and that's a big thing that we need to take care of. And I certainly will use the bully pulpit from the city for the city of St. Louis to help bolster, to help parents with PTAs, PTOs, talking about those things that are necessary to get our children up to speed when it comes to education.
Residents say they want a vision for a better St. Louis. What's yours?
Optimal performance. We want optimal performance from every endeavor within the city. From the police, we have to have optimal performance from those guys. It sends a message to people that not only are you safe, it sends information and critical information that we will not tolerate anything from those who are breaking laws. We are a law-abiding citizens here in this city, and we want people to follow those instructions. We want optimal performance from our city administrators and all of the people associated with the city of St. Louis, that we perform at a very, very high level to provide optimal services to people. And that resonates with people when they can see just a small change in attitude. And that is how we turn things around. But you have to have leadership in order to do so.
The St. Louis Public Schools. That has been a source of many bad headlines in the last 6 months. It's obviously something where the mayor doesn't have much control. What would you do as mayor to right that ship?
I worked in St. Louis Public Schools. I worked for the local teachers union. My grandparents worked in St. Louis Public Schools for 30 years. And my little sister is currently a teacher in the St. Louis Public Schools. So I understand the needs of the St. Louis Public Schools. I think it's appropriate for the city government to focus on wraparound services. What I'd want to do is invest. Part of our RANS fund has been part of my plan, $5 million a year, about $500,000 of that going to advocacy for wraparound services for our 20th most low-income schools in the region. That's both in the north and south side. And what wraparound services are is making sure you have a full-time therapist, a full-time nurse, and another full-time social worker, so that our impoverished kids can get the services they need. We know how poverty affects student achievement, and it's upon the city government to reduce the effect of poverty upon when folks go into the classroom.
People say the big thing they want from a mayor is they want a vision for a better St. Louis. What's yours? First is that we got to take care of home. But the big vision while we're chewing the gum and we're walking towards something is I want to improve our riverfront. I think the big product that folks want to see is our riverfront be a space that people want to go to, a retail space. Their customers come from all over the region,
And there are projects that we can support north of the Arch and south of the Arch that improve our riverfront for housing, for retail, and a place that people can live, work, and play. Improving the riverfront will be something that we want to support with funding so that 4 years from now we can say, wow, we have something nice and new that we can point to that the city administration has done.
So many people leave as their kids get a little bit older. They don't see the kind of school that can work for them. What would you do as mayor to deal with that situation?
I'm the proud mother of a kid, a city kid, who is attending a St. Louis public school and flourishing, doing really well. And what I will do, if elected, is appoint a person in my administration to focus exclusively on education. This last year, we saw the lack of buses on day one come out of nowhere. I was surprised as a parent. The community was horrified about how their kids were going to get to school. This should never happen. We should have some accountability in that space, and having a member of the mayor's cabinet engaged in that process will prevent. I will never throw my hands up and say, I just didn't know. And the same is true of the budget issues and all sorts of things. Being a part of the process and being part of solving the issues is going to be a key component to making our St. Louis public schools successful.
What's your vision?
I think St. Louis, harnessing some of our biggest businesses, the folks that have the most to invest, concentrating that in our downtown and in our city in a constructive way is my vision for St. Louis. It's a downtown that's flourishing, that has residents from all over the world and all over the region visiting on a regular basis, that are telling the story about St. Louis, including our downtown in a constructive way. We have more top-notch universities than almost any city in the world. Taking the concerns of the universities and their students, figuring out how to ingrain them into our communities, harnessing that enormous brain power that we're producing here, and pulling it back into our communities.
I believe that as mayor, it's my responsibility to take care of our children in their out of school time and their environment so they can arrive at school fresh, ready to learn. Parents have what they need to help their families thrive. So my responsibility is the environment that our children come from when they arrive to school. And as mayor, I can't pick winners and losers. I have to serve all of our children, no matter what educational institution that they're going to. And that's what our rec centers are for. We've made robust investments in our rec centers and our youth programming for that time out of school. So after school programming, partnering with Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Louis as well. Recreational programming. And then we have a liaison directly in the mayor's office that's a liaison to all of our educational institutions, including SLPS, to let them know that we are here to help whatever they need. And I will, be totally honest and let people know that I was the one who called for an audit of SLPS.
What would you say your vision is?
My vision is a St. Louis that is safer, healthier, and stronger in the coming years. I have a vision of expanding public transit, building a new airport, making that a world-class facility because St. Louis is a world-class city, making sure that our convention and visitors industry continues to attract big conventions and tourism to our city, and have a vision of equity to make sure that no matter where you live in the city, that you have the same opportunities and the same access to resources as anyone else, no matter where you live, that your zip code doesn't determine your opportunity. And so we are making those investments to make sure that that's the future that we want to build for St. Louis.
Nine PBS and St. Louis Magazine engaged citizens in St. Louis about what issues are most important to them during this mayoral election. To see more of what the candidates had to say and read the full transcripts of the interviews, visit 9pbs.org/elections. This program is supported in part by the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation.